Hey everyone, it's Emil from Little Boomers Basketball. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. It brings me great excitement to introduce two lovely people to us. It's not two separate people, it's one united. What was your name, good sir?
Chris.
And
Rebekah.
Chris and Rebekah. They are our new franchise partners of the North Sydney area. It's unbelievable. We welcome Chris and Rebekah to the Boomers family. Now we're going to take you through a journey here, because what you're seeing right now, this started about, when was our first point of contact, Chris?
I think it would have been around September, maybe August, September, even maybe earlier.
I think July.
There you go. Maybe July, actually, because we didn't give it.
Yeah.
So maybe July. Yeah.
I want to ask you, back in July, right? You were Googling. I want you to take us through how you came across, because you didn't know about Little Boomers Basketball. You were doing a random Google search, and it happened quite incidentally. So talk us through, how did you come across Little Boomers Basketball?
So at the time we had 2 children. We now have 3.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. So we were doing a bit of research for my eldest. We wanted him to get into maybe some basketball because I like playing basketball myself. And everywhere we searched, all I saw was Little Boomers, to be honest with you. So my wife and I decided, okay, wow, this is maybe one of the programs. So we started looking into it, and further down the track, I noticed that there were franchise opportunities. Now, I started looking into franchise opportunities because my wife was due to have a baby, our 3rd baby, in October, and I knew it was going to be a tough thing for her to get back to the workplace. So the franchise opportunity really stood out to me to something that would be really beneficial to my wife and I as a secondary income. And then from there, I did some research and booked a phone call in with Emil.
I mean, I don't have to do any interviewing. You want to just keep going, man. I don't have to do anything. Just keep taking it. That's good. I'm just there listening. Yeah. That was beautiful. Usually I have to, ask questions. It was good. Okay, cool. So Chris, you were looking for classes for your child in North Sydney.
Yes.
You couldn't find any. You obviously visited our page. There was no classes nearby.
Everything was booked out.
It was all booked out. And then you saw on our website that there was franchise opportunities, right?
Correct.
That's awesome. So now what I want to do is, you would have gone to Beck and said to Beck, what do you think? They've got Little Boomers franchise opportunities. Now, Beck, I want to put it to you. Initially, when Chris proposed the idea of like a franchise opportunity, what were your initial thoughts? Talk us through. What was the conversation like?
I think so. We had already had the conversation about me going back to work and how far away it was going to be, and how intense having 3 young kids and working 5 days a week full time would be. So when he put it to me, I thought, it sounds like a good idea. I'm a little bit nervous at first, but obviously as we started talking and had the conversation with you, it sort of just flowed from there.
Awesome. So just to confirm, what were you doing before, so for your full-time work?
Yes, and I was working in HR.
Okay, so you're in HR. You were about to have another baby, and you were thinking, okay, look, it's if I have to go back to work with 3 kids, it's going to be hectic, got to drop them off school, got the full-time work. So it was kind of, you had that in your mind, okay, what other options do I have where I can kind of be a little bit more flexible around the work-life balance, juggling family and juggling kids. So that's what enticed you when Chris told you about it.
That's right, yeah. So the 9 to 5 was worrying us a little bit. How are we going to work that around our 3 kids, but also just the economy at the moment. We both need to be working, and we do want a secondary income. And I also just like working as well. I like to work at my own pace. Yeah. So it just started to sound better and better as we went on. Yeah,
perfect. So okay, so talk to us now. I had a phone conversation with Chris. Then after that, Chris, we had the Zoom with Mary and I.
Yep.
And then you came down for like what we call the Discovery Day, your first visit. Was it on a Sunday? It was on a Wednesday. Yes, it was on a Wednesday. Okay, so you came down, you've never seen our class structure, you've never seen our format, you've seen nothing about our business. You came down on that Wednesday with Beck and yourself. Yeah. I want to talk through the audience initially. What did you see? What did you like about it? What were your initial impressions when you saw one of our classes at our flagship location?
It was impressive, to be honest with you. I know, obviously, he probably showed me his best location, obviously, which is good though. It just showed it was structured. There was a process for everything. Every kid looked like they were having fun, to be honest with you. Everyone was happy. Parents looked happy. Everything's just well structured. And for me, structure is everything. I run my own business. And structure and process and procedure is very important. And that's what I noticed. And it ticked the box for me straight away.
Okay, so Chris, you came in, you saw that there was a structure.
Yep.
and that's very important. Talk to us about the systems and processes. There was a flow that we had in all of our classes. Tell the audience exactly like what you saw in regards to those systems and the flow of the sessions.
Yeah, so what I noticed, everyone that obviously shows up to class, number one, they're not allowed to just jump on the basketball courts willingly until Mary gives them the go-ahead. Mary will check everyone in and give them a little sticker, which helped a lot, obviously, for younger coaches, newer coaches, so they familiarise themselves with the names. But yeah, she structured it in the way, so she checked everybody in. Once it all started, she obviously let them on the court. Once one session finishes, the new session's not allowed to jump straight on the court. They have to wait for the old session to finish. So it was all, it was really run well by Mary. I think it's very imperative that you have that there as well, so that there's just a massive flow-on effect.
100%. Now, Beck, from you, I'm keen to get your thoughts. So you come from a HR background. When you arrived at the class for the first time with Chris at our flagship location in Riverwood, talk us through what was your initial impressions coming from a HR background?
I noticed from a HR background, obviously we deal with recruiting and sort of behavioural stuff by people in the workplace. So the first thing I noticed was the coaches were all well dressed. They were all wearing all the same uniform, all very presentable. The children were all wearing uniforms. It looked very professional in that there was nowhere that was sort of slacking. Everything was branded, which gave me the impression that it was like a very professional, very well-run sort of business and set up properly.
And I remember on that day you mentioned something about the coaches. There was one coach in particular that you were saying, wow, you're complimenting him. What was it about the coaches that you really liked?
I believe that might have been, was that
Jesse.
Dom? Jesse.
Yeah.
Jesse, yeah. So Jesse.
Shout out to Jesse if you're watching that video.
Yeah, Jesse.
Well, I thought he was great with the kids, very energetic and sort of got on their level and he just brought the energy and the kids loved him. The kids were obsessed with him, and I thought that was very important to get the coaches all up to scratch. I thought, where does he find these people? How does he train these people? Because they just worked so well with the kids, and the kids just loved him. Yeah,
100%. Jesse's really good, and it goes to show you, coaches very important part of our business. Finding, training them up, having great coaches. It makes or breaks everything. Okay, so you finished you came in for your discovery day at our flagship location in Riverwood. You then went home. You would have had conversations with Beck and yourself. What were the conversations like after that?
After every week, we'd get in the car and look at each other and go, what do you think? Do you still want to do it? Do you still want to do it?
It's a big commitment.
Do you still want to do it? Yeah. And every week it was every week as we sort of got our head around it more and more, the more it seemed like a good idea. So the conversations that we probably had was, I was probably the more nervous one, just because he's happy to dive in, and he was also doing week to week. He was learning all of the sports plan and stuff like that. As long as he was comfortable, I'm confident going into it if he's confident.
Yeah. You know what? I want to touch on that. You mentioned you were a little bit nervous. Everybody, before they come into it is a big investment. Yeah. It's common to have nerves and to be kind of, skeptical, or what if this, all the what if situations, as they say. What got you across the line? You were nervous. You probably had thoughts. What got you across the line to make that decision?
My negotiation tactics.
Chris's negotiation tactics?
His confidence as well helped, but for me it was probably how structured and organised it was, and probably the reassurance that we got from you guys that there's an explanation for everything. If you've got a question, there's already a procedure in place for any question you're about to ask. So that helps a lot. I guess if we're going into a franchise that seemed unorganised or wasn't giving us the support or wasn't sort of promising us that there would be some support to get us off the ground, I would have been very hesitant.
Yeah. Okay. So for you, is it safe to say, Beck, for you, when you had that nervous, you were a bit nervous, you had those thoughts, maybe those doubts, it was the reassurance from the support that you'll get from us that kind of said, you know what, it's a risk, it's a big investment, I'm becoming a franchise partner, but I believe if I have the right support, I'll navigate through those waters. Is that what got you across the line?
Yeah, I know that us two together will be able to pull it off, but in the event that we needed help with something, or that we were struggling with something, or we didn't know how to go about something, having someone there to call and the support that we needed basically was a big help to us.
Beautiful. And I want to ask you, so Beck, you mentioned at the start that the idea of having a business that's flexible, because you were a bit worried about going back to 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. I've got kids, it's going to be hard to commute. What about school drop-off, all that? Do you feel like, so our industry is in the kids industry, right? You got classes, there's kids in your classes. Do you feel like the industry itself, like possibly being able to have your child do the program, taking your children with you to work, as in, it's not really work, but taking your children with you, maybe even when they're a bit older, they can participate in the program, they can watch you from the sideline, and it's like kind of you're mixing two, business and your family all in the same one. Do you think that played a role as well in that work-life balance?
Absolutely, because like my current role is not kid friendly, I would say, at all. So there's no bringing your children to work. There's no sort of flexibility around having to leave if something happens with my children or anything like that. So the thought of going back into that work environment was a little bit scary with 3 kids. So knowing that I could bring my 3-year-old with us on, like, you know, a Saturday or a Sunday or even in an afternoon, and him being able to jump in and be a little boomer as well. It was definitely a big factor for us as well.
I like that. Be a little boomer.
Yeah.
That's can we trademark that?
Boom.
Be a little boomer. I love it. Last question, Chris, and then we're out of this 32 degrees heat. Last question I want to ask, Chris, and I want to ask you to tell the audience. You got a lot of people that everyone wants to start. Like, a lot of people, they got the desire to start their own business, right? I want to be my own boss. I want to start my own business. I'm sick of working 9 to 5, or they're just like Beck. They really didn't. They wanted to find meaning in their work. They wanted to find purpose. They wanted to find meaning. They've got that ambition, but they've had that ambition for a long time, but they've never done anything about it, whether it's fear of failure, procrastination, maybe they're a bit comfortable in what they're doing now. There's all these factors, right? I know so many people that they've got the desire to be their own boss. They want to do something fulfilling, but they're still doing what they've been doing for the last 5 years. For that person that's seen this video now, they want to make the jump, but all of those reasons are holding them back. What would you say to that person that's watching this video?
Call a mill. Take the leap of faith.
On what number?
On the Little Boomers number. Look, it's obviously hard to do those sort of things. Everyone's a bit different. Everyone has different characters and personalities. I've always been a bit of a risk taker on my end, whereas my wife's obviously the opposite. But the most important thing is obviously educating yourself on what you're getting into and having the right support. So the biggest thing for us, again, which Becca touched on, I noticed that Emil takes a lot of passion in his business and a lot of passion in kids and a lot of passion about what he's doing, which will reflect to people that he partners up with. So that meant that was huge for me, and it just made me realise, you're not just going to be saying, yep, we're going to build a location here and we're just going to be left to our own devices, that we're going to have the support, and he wants us to grow as much as he wants his own business to grow. So yeah, it makes a huge difference to us.
Very well said, Chris. Very nice words, very well said. Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, we are finished today, 12th of December. Chris and Rebecca, on behalf of myself, Mary, everyone at Little Boomers, wish you all the best on your new business opportunity in North Sydney. They are set to launch in Term 2.
Get ready.
First week of May, Term 2, 2024. They have found a new location. We won't announce it just yet, but they've got a new location. So on behalf of the Boomers family, we wish them all the best on their new business opportunity. May God bless them. Rebecca, thank you very much. Chris.
Thank you.